Merrill, you know, you should really reinvest in your channel.
Huh?
All right, folks, smile for your class picture. You are about to take a test.
I just started a website called I Rate Metal Detectors. I really want to know. Like, some people, it's cigars, alcohol. Me, it's metal detecting. I want to know.
It's time for an experiment. We got this mercury dime here. We have a container that measures about 9.5 inches. 9.5 inches. And we are going to bury this down in the ground, and we're going to fill this with dirt and simulate which detectors can actually make that pull. I'm doing this for my website, iratemetaldetectors.com. All right, we have a few charging and other ones that are ready to go. So let's get this test underway. All right, cylinder in the hole, and we want to be able to fill this. So we're going to throw some dirt in here. All right, let's get this party started. All right, let's wake the Garrett Apex out of its slumber.
Okay, so let me preface this a little bit. So I didn't filter out the iron. We have a lot of iron that is mixed in, and there's going to be a part 2 of this test. I want to be able to test these detectors in the presence of iron and also just the cylinder. So that would be more of an air test. But we have a lot of iron interfering with a lot of the detectors that you're going to see. Let's start with the Garrett Apex, which just generally loves iron. I don't want to knock it because I had some of my best days at the beach with it, but it loves iron.
My garden is full of iron, by the way, some of which is in there. Only picking up iron. Back to sleep you go.
Keep in mind with this test, although it was not on purpose, clearly a lot of the iron that was in the ground got right into there, into that cylinder and the immediate area around it. And you're going to hear, especially, over the next few signals, a lot of the iron, but it's also going to pick up the non-ferrous tones. And this is actually a good experiment for all of these detectors, although I can't say that I planned this. This was just a serendipitous accident that happened. But let's watch. We could always go and retest and do an air test to clarify.
This one might be controversial. So we have Nokta, Makro, Simplex, and what we're going to do first is we are going to ground balance. We did do that with the Apex also, by the way. But anyway, let's get it out of this mode. All right, so the target's here. Let's look around here. There's a whole lot of iron left in my garden. Now going over the signal, that's a repeat. So's that. It's getting something, 9.5 inches. That's not something I would dig though. Sounds like that. And again, I've lived in this place for almost 15 years, actually more than 15 years. Everything is dug. I'm going to call that a no, even though that there is a repeat there. So Simplex people, let me know what you think, but I'm calling that a no. I tell you though, that is $250 detector. That's amazing. What I did was I moved down the iron audio. It's trying really hard to get that. We're still on this. That's impressive. Can't believe I'm doing this. Basically, they had the F1, F2, F3. I moved this up to F3. I just had a repeat here. I'm going to call that a yes. I think we're at the absolute limit of this. But hey, 9.5 inches for the Simplex, that's impressive. Ah, the Anfibio. So we have, okay, we got to adjust this. Right now in its basic settings, I did move it down to tone 3. Okay, look at this. Let's go deep. Now, it's quirky. See how this is blinking to deep? That's extra underground depth. And we are going to set the gain. It's going to have no problems with this now. Let's bring it up to 90. Too easy. 9.5 inches. That's getting it at like 13 inches right there. Yeah, Anfibio is a deep, deep, deep detector. No doubt about it. I might have to infer on this one with some prior experience. This is a deep detector, the Vanquish. Oh man, but the recovery speed kills this thing. So let's actually... It's putting it in a place... There we go. Putting it in a place very much like the Simplex. We're getting a dime at 9.5. Garrett AT Pro. Sounds no different here. Oh, slightly different there. I'm gonna call that a no. Hey you, don't dig up my garden. All right, so this is one of my all-time favorite detectors. I use this almost exclusively for 3 years. And I love it. But you know what? We're trying to be, you know, fully objective about this. I put it in the deepest settings that I know. Sensitivity is auto. Let me show you that actually. So sensitivity, if we knock it to the highest level, we're getting it, but the problem is, what exactly am I going to get? It's getting everything. For years, I used the watt coil, the wild orange thin coil, which is huge. It's a lot more under control. It's trying to get it, but that's a miss with the Safari and the standard coil. The E-Trac, this is another machine that my perception was skewed because I barely used the stock coil. It is getting it. I have auto sensitivity off. Barely gets it with auto sensitivity on. And let's open this up. Definitely gets it with the grid open. But when you do that, it opens it up to everything. In terms of getting it with a normal notch pattern, it's really fighting to get it at 9.5 inches. CTX 3030 open grid, auto sensitivity. Getting it, the depth is a little bit off. But look at that. I have it in silver mode. That's just like the Anfibio. Depth to spare. So same thing, but I noticed this. I turned. I'm getting it, but not as well. Big piece of iron. This gives you the iron volume 2, or the iron signature. Does the Garrett Ace 250 have it in it to get a 9.5 inch silver dime? It's on, by the way. Negative. Uh-oh. Nokta Legend. Alright, so sensitivity is at 30. Now let's go down. I have recovery speed at 3. I've been messing around with this. I did a ground balance. We are going to put on tracking. Let me get out of this mode. Pinpoint. Tracking is on. Can you tell? It's getting something there. That's in field mode. Hold on. Nokta Legend. That's a hit. It's a little strange though. It takes a second to lock in. You'll eventually get a strong repeat though. Moving it back. Maybe you could get a dime at 10.5 inches. Beach Hunter will handle in another video. XP Deus 1 deep program. Nothing tinkered with, just factory settings. Getting an audio response. There we go. There is iron nearby. My garden is all iron, which makes this an interesting test. and all the detectors are tested in the same exact conditions. We're calling this a hit. Holy cow. Deus 2. Look at that. We are like 5-6 inches off the ground. Wow. And finally, Minelab Equinox 800. Oh. Getting it.
Now you can see what I mean in that there was clear iron in there. And that might have actually benefited this test. It made it a little bit more real. I know that the ground was disturbed, but really it's all of the detectors getting tested on the same thing. And there's a certain legitimacy about that. It's not the same as pulling it from the ground, but one next to the other. The ones that really shined, interestingly, the Anfibio, the Deus 2, and the Equinox. Those are the ones who absolutely killed this one. To a lesser extent, the CTX 3030, although that was, you saw when I pulled it away from the hole, that it kind of repeated that signal in a spot that I know that there is iron. So the settings that I had on that were the deepest settings, but it's something that would have been absolutely wild in the field. Nokta Legend had a good showing as well there. I was impressed with the results there. But over the next few days, you're going to see me put these, the specific videos from that segment under the detectors on irate metal detectors, so that you can see that there's going to be tests that we're going to do, and there'll be a hyperlink in there. So if anybody is doing research, what metal detector to buy, they'll be able to just click on that, and they'll be able to see my depth rating on this. Everything to make it easier. That's the goal. Make it easy and make it accurate. I've been doing the write-ups, and I want to make sure that the write-ups reflect everything that I know. For instance, I used the E-Trac and I used the Safari for many years, but I used that with the extremely large wild orange thin coil, and that definitely gave me more depth. But I could see that, from testing with the regular coils, I have to rethink things. So we're going for accuracy. Anyway, thanks for watching here. Thanks for reading on irate metal detectors.